Alan, if you leave, you stay out, right? Okay. Just that noise, that door is just too noisy. All right, are you ready? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello. It is still morning.
It's morning, yes?
Still 11:30. Good morning to you.
Thank you. My partners, Yeison, Gurkirat, and myself, we are gonna present our case study of Christa Clothing International. Since now, we are going to refer Christa Clothing International as Christa Clothing. So, this is our agenda. First one, we are gonna present a little brief introduction of the company. After that, we are gonna say our statement of problems. We are gonna develop, show some analysis that we have done, and finally, we are show some recommendation and our plan of action. As most of you have present, we just want to remind just a little some facts. Like Christa Clothing at the beginning started in America, designing clothing for men and women. After that, through these years, they expanded to Europe, and their sale increased 400%. And right now, they are considering to expand to Asian market. We have some assumptions, because this case, it was by 2014. So we know that by that time, Asia and US were talking about some trade agreements like Trans-Pacific Partnership, but it wasn't. It was only under consideration, and we assume that Asian market is more conservative than American and European. Just to show some illustration about that, about our assumption, let's see those videos. Fashion show in Hong Kong. It's a design of the clothes that they design. And now let's see a little bit an American style.
So like as you have seen in the video, how there is a lot of difference between both the cultures, or you can say both the countries and markets, the Asian and the Western and USA, the kind of clothes they wear. And now we'll tell you about the statement of problem, which we found that the Christa Clothing doesn't have any proper marketing strategy to enter these markets. The marketing strategy which they follow in Europe and US is they cannot implement the same thing in Asia. And the next thing is that in the market which they already exist, they have a low quality image. The customers over there perceive the company as a low quality thing, and that could be a problem when they enter the Asian market. And the next thing is that absence from mass media since 1 year. So that is a very big thing, because they have not advertised in the mass media since 1 year. So that were the statement of, that were the problems which we analyzed. And the next, now we'll do the analysis of the company and the Asian markets. First, the analysis of the company, that is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So the strengths of the company is that it has a global presence. Christa Clothing is present in about 16 countries, and it is existing since 1991. So it has more than 23 experience in the fashion industry. And one of the other strengths is that they have a moderate pricing. That is, the price of the products are not very high and it's not very inexpensive. It's moderate, so it can be afforded. It's very affordable, and they have a efficient delivery rate of 95%, which gives them an advantage over their competitors. And the weakness is that the market which they are trying to enter, that is Asia, they don't have any experience of that market, because that market is very different from the other markets. And as I said earlier in the statement of problem, that they have they had an absence from the mass media since 1 year, and they have a low quality image. The opportunities for the company is that they can expand globally, not only in Asia, but as well as when you see South America and when you see African countries, there is a lot of opportunities for the company to expand into that market also, and target different consumers. As we know that the company targets young adults and teenagers, like 18 to 30 around something. So there are other age groups also that they can target. And the threats is that there are many other big brands in the market which can pose a big competition to Christa Clothing, and there are certain trade barriers which can pose a threat while entering into those markets. So that was the analysis. And now this is the population of different countries. This is USA, and these are all the Asian countries, and we have taken this data from Human Development Report by United Nations, and this data is from 2014. As you can see, the population of USA is very high as compared to these countries, but still, as they in Europe and USA, they are doing very well, and there are less opportunities to grow now. So they should focus on these countries as well. The next thing is the age group of different Asian countries. So the thing which you can see in the yellow color is that is the actual target of Christa Clothing in Europe. Like, they target the young adults and teenagers, and you can see like in Hong Kong, the middle age group is very high. So there is an opportunity for the country to target these age groups also, because in Asian countries, in some of the Asian countries like Hong Kong, Japan, you can see the age of older people is increasing, so they can diversify their products and focus on those markets also. Next slide, please. So this is the GNI per capita in PPE, that is purchasing power parity in dollars. This data is from World Bank, and as you can see, the Singapore, Hong Kong, and United States, the market over there, the customers have very high purchasing power, and as well as Japan and Korea also have a good purchasing power, but Malaysia and Thailand, they don't have such high purchasing power. And now further analysis will be done by my friend Yeika.
So as we saw in the video, and as Gurkirat said, between US, Europe, and those Asian countries, there are a lot of cultural difference. For show this difference, we have this positive cultural dimension graphic, and in the fashion world, the most relevant aspects are individualism, long-term orientation, and indulgence. Why? Because individualism shows, when cultures talk like I, or we. In United States, that is one of the most individualistic countries, as you see, is 91, and Asian countries, the media is 20-something. What it means that Christa Clothing is offering a style for be different, for to be unique. So maybe for Asian countries, it doesn't work very well because they refer to themselves as we. Long-term orientation is in fashion business. It means you want to maintain the link with your past. That's why, I don't know if you remember, their design keep something from their previous designs. And indulgence is the way how people see or control their desires. Again, if your population is very indulgent, is good in fashion because they want to be different. But if this index is low, it means that they control very much their desires. So now, let's see some recommendations that we have for Christa Clothing.
Yes, as a consultant, we came up with the recommendations, which are like relaunch the brand in the existing market. As we say, like Christa Clothing, they haven't been in the social media mass for 1 year. So our recommendation is that they should they should create a branding, marketing, and project in order to increase their presence in the system market, because the competitors has been increasing during that period of time. Another recommendation is modify its advertising strategy as well as specialize these products according to the needs of the Asian market. As you know, the Asian market and the American market and the Europe market is completely different. So they may have to consider specialize their products in order to penetrate the Asian market. Another recommendation is they should go to Hong Kong, Singapore, and the Korean market as well. But first, we recommend that they should go in the Singapore market because it's part of the Asian market, but it's a small market. They have a higher number of younger people there, and the purchasing power is high. So here is our plan of action implementation. It's in the first quarter of the year, they should doing the rebranding, the Asian plan and marketing plan, in order to increase their presence in the existing market. For the second quarter, they have to enter to Singapore, as I said, and as I say, the reasons why. And then, after the experience in the Singapore market, they should go into Hong Kong and Korea, and with an implementation plan based on the experience that they got in the Singapore market, and that would be the third quarter of the year, and then the third quarter of the next year.
Sorry, just say that last point again, sorry.
After that, they will go into the Hong Kong and Korea market in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter they will be monitoring and evaluating.
Okay.
So that has been our presentation. Thank you for your attention.
I have a couple of comments. First of all, I thought it was visually one of the nicer presentations that I saw. And this is going to sound to be critical, but it isn't. I heard a very good presentation with some very good backup figures and some really good thinking in the analysis. But I have to go back with both my hands and scratch my head, because you're showing that the fact that they hadn't advertised for a year was the biggest problem. You want to just throw that slide up? Can you get to that?
like one of the biggest problem, because if they have not advertised in the media, so there is not much awareness about the company in the market. So that's why it's a problem.
So are you saying that they're not advertising in Korea, for an example?
No, it's related to the existing market. They have not advertised in the existing market. That's why in the recommendation we said they need to rebrand themselves.
Yes, and we didn't show it in this presentation, but they have a lot of competition.
Competitors?
Yeah, competitors that they have presence and they can take advantage and go first, for example, because maybe Asian market know better than Christa Clothing.
So this is unfair because I don't know what your background is, but have you ever studied advertising in any of your undergrad? Have you ever talked about like a flanking strategy or any of these strategies?
No.
Okay, so these strategies come from war, and it comes from the Prussian War, and it talks about positioning. So one of the things is that the fact that they hadn't done any advertising could actually work to their advantage. So the dollars that they didn't spend in advertising, they could have invested in research.
It's true.
Okay, I'm not criticizing, because a number of you stated that the fact that they hadn't advertised for a year was just a really, really bad thing. It could have been a strategy. We didn't know that, and I'm not saying that is the case, but they could have invested that money and made what we call almost like a sneak attack, right? Nobody was ready, then bang, here we are, we're in Korea, we're ready, we know the market, we know the style, we know the target audience, we know what they like, we know what they're prepared to pay. So that's my only comment there.
Yes, it's true, but also in fashion is maybe because people follow a trend. So if they see in an actor or an artist, maybe it's very easy to penetrate a market who already know about your brand. So.
Very good. And could you just flip through another slide? Just go to another one slowly. No, next one. No, next one. Next one. Next one. Next. Oh, that one. Go back left. Sorry.
Yes.
When you see long-term orientation, what's the farthest point out? Is it that 7-year mark that we talk about, or is it?
No. Well, 7 years is short term. In other aspect, long-term orientation means like the plan that the peoples do for their life, maybe for 30 years, or the government maybe plans 40 years in the future. China is good at it. But when we talk about fashion, we try to relate as when they design new clothing, they try to keep their links with the past.
Yes.
Yes. So that's why we try to just relate this aspect with fashion.
Okay. Anybody else? Alan has a question. He's got to go to the bathroom. You have a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Just one thing, when you said relaunch a brand, right? I just want to know why do you want to do that? Because anyways, in your presentation, you said the Asian market is different. So the advertising strategy which you are going to use in the US is completely different than what you are going to use in the Asian market. So how will relaunching a brand in the existing market help you all go to the Asian market? Like, anyway, you are going to use two different strategies, right? You're not going to use the same strategy.
Yeah. See, the thing is that if people like, suppose McDonald's is entering to India, and it's a like new company in India. So if I'm an Indian and I already know about McDonald's, so I would be excited about that. Yeah, this company is coming to my country. So that's why we want to relaunch the brand in the existing market itself. So that because in the existing market they have a low quality image. So while they enter Asian market, so the Asian people are aware about the new brand before itself.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's basically increase the awareness of the company, so the company can expand into another market. But in base of the knowledge that the people get of the relaunch of the brand in the United States or Europe market.
And anyways, you need to do that in your current market. So it's easier if you relaunch and then just adjust some feature for Asian market after that.
Are you using the same brand message that you are, when you relaunch? The main thing of relaunching, you're coming up with a new brand message in the existing market. So are you using the same brand message in Asia?
No, well, it's the same brand, but maybe the colors could be like more
Like the
general, like worldwide.
I'm assuming that, I'm assuming that when you're going to do your cultural research, that you will focus test a new message.
Yeah.
You know, for example, based on lifestyle, you might do something there.
Yeah, that's the reason why I asked the question. Because anyway, when you're going to a new market, you're anyways going to have a different message, which is a completely different market, different culture. So, like, I just want to know, how will the relaunch in the existing market help them, like, go into the Asian market? Might as well use that money or use that time to launch yourself in the Asian market in a more strong manner.
I didn't understand that as rebranding in the present market. I thought that was rebranding in a new market.
No, in the present market.
Am I right or wrong?
No, it's in the present market.
I was drinking alcohol. Okay. Thank you very much. So, what did you learn? What did you learn from other people's presentations? What did you learn from your own presentation?